Hamidakiapi, Chante Vashtea Nape Chayujapi, Alexis Antoine Makiapi. Hello everyone, I shake your hand with a good heart. My name is Alexis Antoine. I want to begin by extending my greetings to all my relatives, respected elders, knowledge keepers, leaders, farmers, and guests. It is a great honor to stand here today as a youth speaker at this year's Indigenous Agriculture Summit. My sincerest thanks to the organizers for giving myself and my fellow youth a place on the stage. Your decision to include young people shows that youth voices are valued and that the future of Indigenous agriculture is seen as something we are meant to shape. We are deeply grateful for the opportunity to learn, share, and grow alongside so many dedicated farmers, leaders, and knowledge keepers. When most people think about agriculture, they think of production, markets, or efficiency. But for Indigenous peoples, agriculture has always been so much more than that. It is about relationships, responsibility, and identity. It's about the connections we maintain with the land, with the plants and animals, and with the communities that depend on the food we grow. Food is not just something to eat, it is something to respect, to honor, and to share. And in Indigenous agriculture, every seed, every plant, and every harvest is a part of a story that spans generations. Our ancestors practiced agriculture in ways that were sustainable, spiritual, and sophisticated. These practices were not only about producing food, they were about nurturing community, culture, and identity. These teachings are not just history, they are urgently relevant today. Indigenous agriculture offers guidance for creating sustainable food systems, adapting to climate challenges, and protecting biodiversity. It teaches us that the land is a relative to be cared for, not a resource to be exploited. Restoring the land to its original state is more than an environmental goal. It is a cultural and spiritual responsibility. Bringing back native grasses, protecting waterways, supporting buffalo herds, and revitalizing traditional food systems is how we reconnect with the teachings of our ancestors. When the land thrives, so does our culture, identity, and community well-being. Restoration is not just about what we do today, it's an investment in the generations that come after us. As a young person, I have to be honest, when I first encountered this work, I wasn't especially interested in agriculture. My focus was on politics and leadership, and I didn't see how farming, land stewardship, or traditional food systems fit into that path. But over time, I realized something important. Agriculture is one of the strongest forms of leadership there is. Indigenous agriculture is political, cultural, and spiritual. Caring for the lands, the plants, and the animals is an act of service to our communities and a commitment to the future. Learning to see leadership through this lens has changed the way I understand my role in the world.
Meadow Leaming. Thank you for inviting me to share this platform with you. The history of this land is deeply interwoven with the history of Indigenous food systems, knowledge, and resilience. This event, the Indigenous Ag Summit, is a vital gathering that stands at the intersection of tradition and the future. For me, this focus on resilience is not just theoretical, it's personal. This past summer, I was fortunate enough to be part of a group of 12 youth working on local food security and land sovereignty project in our community. Our mission was simple, to make a tangible difference. And so, over the course of those long summer days, rain or shine, hot or cold, we roamed the land. We were a unit of 12, had a perfect balance of hard work and fun. When one person lagged, another stepped in. We kept each other on task, not out of obligation, but out of shared belief in the goal. This taught me that the future of Indigenous agriculture isn't about lone heroism. It's about collective accountability and laughter. Planting those orchards was a direct lesson in long-term stewardship and true land sovereignty. Sovereignty isn't just about claiming land. It's about having the vision and the commitment to ensure the land is productive, accessible, and nourishing for those who come after us. It is about planting a seed of diversity in those different apple varieties that guarantees a resilient harvest for a future community that we may never meet. That lesson in long-term vision leads me to the most critical message I want to share with the leaders and innovators here today. Too often are the youth left out of the planning process because we are seen as just kids. We're a group to be planned for rather than a group to be planned with. The reality is that the young people I worked with alongside this summer and countless other across the land are already bringing their commitment, their resilience, and their hands-on care to the land. When you look at the bigger picture, you see youth who care enough to do more. Our perspectives matter just as much as adults, not just because we have fresh ideas, but because we are the future generation, the ones who will be in charge of tendering the soil, managing the resources, and leading the businesses a decade or two from now. If we are the ones inheriting the land and food systems, then we must be the ones helping design them today. Investing in youth involvement, trusting our commitment, and valuing our perspectives isn't just a mentorship opportunity. It's the best long-term investment we can make in Indigenous agriculture, leadership, and food security. I'm here because that summer job showed me the difference between talking about the future and building it, one tree at a time. The opportunity to help plant those trees is what gave me the confidence to speak about our agriculture future here at the Indigenous Ag Summit. Don't plan for us, plan with us. Invest in our energy, trust our vision, and let's start planting those long-term seeds today. The work is hard, the journey is long, but the harvest, I believe, will be great.
Hello, my name, as you know it, is Rylie Bell. I am 18 years old and I just recently graduated high school. And why I'm here today is because I never really considered my land as significant to me, significant to our people, as I never really saw a way of it benefiting me in the future. But as I grew up and I got my first job last year, I began to realize that the little things we do here in this job is helping the land one way or another. And it is something that I really want to do.
Hello, how are you doing? Bradley Bowen, Imaki Yapido. My name is Bradley Bowen. I am from Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation, and I have been working for the Lands Department for about 3 months now. I started work as a summer student, but I realized that just working over the summer wasn't going to be enough. So I spoke with Adam and he gave me a job watering trees and working part-time at the gardens. It can be a physically demanding task, but the burn is what keeps me going.
My name is Rhitta Smoke, but my preferred name is Rhitta, and I'm proudly Indigenous and queer. I'm 17 years old and I graduated high school with my fellow colleagues and friends, Meadow and Rylie. I work and live in Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation in the Lands Department with Adam's subject. First, I want to talk about how environmental problems affect me as a person. When I was growing up, I learned at a young age that climate change affects all life on this planet. To crazy storms, more wildfires and droughts, the ice caps melting, acidification of the oceans and temperatures slowly rising, and it was all because of humans' demands on this planet. I grew up thinking that the Earth was going to end when I got older because of climate change. That thinking caused me to grow up without hopes and dreams. It felt like every day was getting closer to the end. It led me down a path of self-loathing and no plans for the future. I couldn't just ignore what was happening in the world and live normally. I felt guilty for living knowing I was contributing to global warming, even in small ways. For the longest time, I felt powerless to do anything. Until now, as of recently, I've been thinking more positively about life. And the thought occurred to me, what if I can do something to help? But this time I tried to understand what we were doing. We were helping restore our native prairie grasslands, picking one seed at a time. You see, grasslands are important for a lot of factors, like carbon secretion, which is the process and storing of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Some more good factors of grasslands are soil health, drought resilience, biodiversity, filtering our water, and a habitat to animals, such as our bison. Native prairies are one of the major biomes on Earth. 31% to 43% of the Earth's surface consists of grassland ecosystems. That's between 41 million and 56 million square kilometers. And just in Saskatchewan alone, 79% to 83% of this province's original native prairie has been torn up and converted into farmland. And 1% of North America's surface remains tall grass prairie, and that number is still shrinking. If we don't preserve these grasslands, we will lose that biodiversity. Not only is it essential for absorbing greenhouse gases, but it's also important to my people, for the bison and the plants that grow in these prairies. But when I was picking those seeds this summer, I was helping for a bigger cause. I noticed a lot of bugs, and flowers I've never noticed before. I feel like sometimes we forget we inhabit this land and this planet with other creatures. We need to learn how to share and give back. Native grasslands shouldn't just matter to Indigenous people, but to everyone who calls this place their home. We together as a group can restore these lands and reduce greenhouse gases and climate change. Thank you for giving me this chance to speak, and I'm proud to say I made this speech without generative AI. And remember, do what you can is less than speak to do it. Thank you.
As a result of this, and we've talked about this for several months, you know, as I shared earlier, we do have an Indigenous Advisory Circle. However, we are going to start as of yesterday. These are how ideas come and we just make them happen. So we are going to start a Youth Warrior Circle that will be working with us at NCIAF and speaking into our work going forward. And then we'll work with our Indigenous Advisory Council. So Meadow, if you can just come up for a quick minute. Meadow is going to, she does a lot of amazing work. We've witnessed and been in the community to see the work that she does. Of course, they're all resilient and they're all going to grow tremendously in leadership. Meadow is going to lead our Youth Warrior Circle with mentorship from our advisory circle. So it's very exciting. We're only as good as what our youth can bring for future generations, so it's very important for their voices to be included.
I'm really good going off the top of my head, so. But I'd like to thank the whole NCIAF team for inviting me here. Wonderful experience. I'd like to especially thank Adam. I wouldn't have even known about this without him. And one last person I'd like to thank, and probably the whole reason I wouldn't even be here right now, is I'd like to thank an old mentor and cheerleader, James Nolan Pratt.
And last but not least, are you deadly at planting trees, grassland restoration, and saving the bees, restoring the lands and setting the world at ease?
Cheers.